This Albion video is about why guilds are a waste of your time in this game for the majority of people. Now, I haven't made a guild rant video in almost a year now. And if you haven't seen one of my previous videos, check out some of these. We have, I quit my top guild, why CTAs are awful. Albion Online guilds explained in truthful detail. This was March 2024. It's been a while, we're making another one, dang it. Now, real quick, let me iterate some of my guild experiences. So I have been a part of a top 10 guild. I have also made my own guilds. And I have joined guilds both big and small, successful and not, on alt accounts, on alt characters that are anonymous and not tied to the swole Benji name at all, while I also speak in a different dialect, different voice, etc., to mask who I actually am. So the three reasons people join guilds are as follows. They either want to make more money or more fame, be it PvP fame or combat fame or gathering fame. And in reality, guilds do not make you more money unless you are the inner circle and you're in a top 10 guild. If you are not part of that inner circle, if you are not part of the cool kids club, you don't make more money, you don't really make more fame, and you're essentially being used so that they can make those things instead. Number 2 is more PvP kills, but who really cares about this? And what I'm talking about is the stats page. You open your stats page, and you'll see fame for killing players. They want this number to go up, or total players killed. They want this number to go up. And those numbers don't really do anything, right? There are people that have killed way more players than me who have way higher PvP fame, but are worse at the game, just sloppy and bad, and not as good in 1v1s or even group fights or even Zerg fights. It's just for bragging rights, but again, in 10 years, no one cares about your stats. I mean, I was a top 0.01% Halo 2 competitive player. No one cares. You know, it's been like 20 plus years. No one cares. And then number 3 is safety. There is safety in numbers, and being in a guild while in the black zone and the roads and whatnot is much safer than not being in one, but it's not complete safety. It is just safer than being a solo player. Let's talk about the money and fame truths. So silver per hour is lower than blue zone gathering. Let's talk about this one. I did multiple tests while in a top 10 guild in the tier 8 highest quality black zones, and the reason the silver per hour was lower is because radar hackers and everyone else in these guilds, because it's a big alliance, they all share land, everyone is out there gathering all the time, and so all of the high yield nodes are picked clean. The people on Reddit sharing screenshots of their black zone hauls are the actual guild gathering, like, specified dudes in the inner circle that are there harvesting, the big, mammoth kill on timer. They're harvesting the 8.4 nodes, they're harvesting this and that. And a lot of the YouTubers that are like, just make gathering like videos, almost all of them are radar hacking, and their movement is super weird. They obviously don't get ganked, and they can find the nodes very quickly due to their radar hacks. Even with the radar hacking, like, they're barely making more than a blue zone gatherer would. It's just really not worth the juice is not worth the squeeze. Let's just say that. Next up is the fame per hour. It is only marginally higher than the yellow zone fame farming, but back then, back in last year, blue zone static fame farming was the best fame in the game that you could possibly do. That was nerfed into the ground, as well as a lot of yellow zone fame farms. Those were all nerfed, and because of those nerfs, yes, now the black zone technically is a better fame farm than the yellow zone. However, it's barely better. It's not really that much better. It is not worth the risk. And this is farming in like an 8.1, 8.2 set, not in a 4.1 set. Using a real expensive set out in the black zone in the highest quality zone is marginally better than yellow zone, to the point where it's not even worth the risk. Even if you are in a guild and they're all on Discord and they're all roaming around ganking and protecting the zone, it's just really not. Finally, like, you're not even really safe when you're in a guild. A lot of times there's like this weird friendly fire. A lot of times guilds have alts and they gank their own guildies that they don't like, or that are just juicy target. Like, everyone is so money hungry in this game that they will log into an alt account that is not in the guild and they will like gank transporters doing transport. I was invited many times in these guilds, you know, to hop on an alt and kill, you know, this guy doing a transport who was telling his guild, hey, I'm going to do transporting, who wants to transport with me? And people would like, you know, they would be like, oh man, hey, I got to go pick up the kids. And then they would log in onto their alts and gank the guy and take his stuff. And then they were, you know, best friends the next day. It was really sickening behavior. But, you know, that I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that what happens in the Black Zone is a whole bunch of people in Discord get together, and when you have like 10 people, you know, in a voice chat, you start doing roaming gank squads. You roam around to different territories and you attack people. And so, even though there's like 10 people in your Discord defending the area, doing some gathering, chilling out, and just fame farming, well, suddenly a rival guild entered the zone with 20 people, and now you just got rolled over. So you respawn in the hideout, and you get your buds, you holler in the Discord, hey, we got these guys in our territory causing trouble. Now you have 30 people in your Discord voice chat. You go out, you counter-murder them all, you get their loot, you get some of your loot back, not all of it, and it's just a big waste of time. You're not making more money doing this, you're not making more fame doing this, and when the enemies do invade your territory, you are expected to defend it, because that's kind of the point. If no one defended the territory and just fame farmed and ignored the threat, then you're not a very good guild member, are you? Am I right? But it's not really that much safer than just being a solo player. Yes, it is technically safer because you can run into a hideout, you can run into, you know, the castle areas, the little fortifications that they have. I forget the names at the moment. It's been a year. Okay, it's been a year. But other than those two things, you still get rolled over by gank squads. Next up is more PvP kills. When you're doing ZVZ content and you have like 100 dudes on your team and the enemy has like 120 dudes on their team, and you know the shot caller's like 3, 2, 1, and you all mash your big AoE spell to blow up the enemy, and you get like 8 or 9 kills in that fight. You know, it's pretty cool, right? Not really. I mean, if you are solo ganking efficiently, like in the mists right now, if you go to like any kind of kill board static, you know, or statistic checking website, or even the leaderboards here, like you go to PvP fame of all time, it's Juan. Well, Juan sometimes has done guild content, but he's usually not really big on that. But you know what he does do? He does mists. He kills everyone in the mists all the time, all day, every day. And you would think, well, you know, why not someone in a guild that like is like the bomb squad of a guild, right? And the thing is, no, you get way more fights and way more kills in the mists, so solo players, again, win in this regard. If you care about PvP kills and number go up, ZVZing is not really the answer to that. Now, I will say it is the lazier way to do it, because when you're in the mists, you have to actually, you know, try hard, you gotta, like, have a right build. When you're in a ZVZ, you just push the button whenever someone tells you to push the button, and if you get some kills, you get some kills. If not, then the other team was just better, I guess, right? But, yeah, it is the easier, lazy way to rack up kills. So when I see people that have, like, 40,000 total killed players, and you check their history on Murder Ledger, and it's all just ZVZ garbage, they're shit at the game. They're like a free kill. They're not a threat. They are not to be feared. They're just a dork that pushes a button when someone screams at them over a microphone to push the button. Now, we already kind of talked about the safety part, but, yeah, having the hideout is nice. However, the hideouts are all disconnected from the royals, disconnected from the main cities, disconnected from basically the rest of the game. And yeah, you have the smugglers' hideouts, and the thing is, smugglers' hideouts are just the solo player's equivalent of a hideout. So, it's not really any better. Like, being in a hideout is the same as being in a smuggler's den. You just run into the smuggler's den, you're safe. There's 2 of them per map, you know, in the deep black zone. Let me unflag, I'll show you. Like, essentially, like, I can go right here, a River Cops Fount, deep tier 8, quality 5 black zone, and, you know, I can walk outside, and I can do some fame farming, and then if gankers are nearby, if there's a roaming death squad, or any kind of threat, then I can just run into the smuggler's den, stash my loot, sell stuff on a market that's linked to all the other markets. The hideouts don't even have a linked market, so they're stepped down. But like you can see, this Ayuda Pivas, that is a hideout, and the only reason these hideouts exist is so that when like guilds when they have a big fight, when their players die, they can respawn here, grab their gear, and run back out to continue the fight. And for crafting, it's you get a crafting bonus when you're in these hideouts. But this one's only level 1, so it doesn't have a big crafting bonus. This one's level 2. So it's only got a power level of one block, so it's not a crafting hideout either. But yeah, like I could just fame farm out here, and then oh no, danger, run back inside. So technically, in that regard, yeah, solo players have it equal to guild players at this point. That's why less people are joining guilds. The only thing, like Ayuda Kool-Aid owns this territory, and so people can run in here because there's NPCs and walls and defenses. They will help protect you from gankers. So if you're farming around this square and a ganker's come, instead of running into the hideout or running into the smugglers, then you just run into the little area here until they leave. And yeah, they do get a 1-up for that solo players can't have. So yeah, it is technically, yes, statistically, yes, safer to be in a guild than not, but you have to put up with all the guild bullshit. So that's what we're going to talk about next. So here's the things we'll talk about. CTAs, which is call to arms. This means everyone rallies up together, forms a big group, and goes out to PvP. Yes, manning and brown nosing. This is essentially when people will agree with anything that someone higher ranked says, even if they're wrong. Inner circles. These are tight friendship circles formed long before you join the guild, and you're not invited into them. Guild culture differs from guild to guild. Some guilds are very diverse, which can cause fragmentation and drama, which is point number 5. But different guilds have different cultures, and unless you align with that type of culture, generally it's not a fun time. And most guilds only care about profit for the people in the inner circle, so they are willing to accept all cultures until one dominant culture overtakes the others, and if it does not align with the inner circle, then they will leave and form a splinter guild, and that's where the collapse generally happens. So let's talk about CTAs. This is when the guild leader and the officers tell everyone to be online at a certain time and report to the guild leader's island for gear inspection and sorting. No, it's not something mystical like Harry Potter's magic sorting hat. You generally put on the gear of the role that you want to play, and you'll be told to switch roles and get different gear, or upgrade your gear, or your gear is wrong, or your helmet passive is wrong, and so on and so forth. And this process will take anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes of your time, where you just sit on an island and wait. That is right. Hurry up and wait. That's the phrase. You're going to sit here on an island with your gear, waiting for everyone else to get their ass ready and get in line and get sorted and get ready and get grouped up and get told what you're going to be doing that day. So let's say, hey, you're going to do a big ZVZ fight with a really troublesome guild that's also in the top 10, and you know that they outnumber you and that you are literally being marched to your death. This is not a fight that your guild is going to win. This is a fight that you have to take just to, get some experience, because the higher ups want to at least kill a few people from this guild. There's no chance of winning, and depending on how Regears work in your guild, it could just cost you a bunch of silver and time. So essentially, you have spent 45 minutes not playing the game, not doing anything at all, not leveling up, not farming, not making money, just chilling in Discord while people yell at each other and stress out. And then it's time to go march off. All right, you've entered into the ZVZ with your clan, and their bomb squad killed half your people in 8 seconds. You lasted 8 seconds. You're told to re-gear and get your ass back out there. So you do, and you die 3 more times until everyone is fully dead. They've taken the castle, and they've gotten the loot. So now the shot caller and the guild leader and the inner circle are raging. They're screaming. They are stressing out about virtual pixels. It's not a fun time. This is now 2 to 3 hours into your gaming session, by the way, which you had to take time out of your day to do. You had stuff to do that day. You wanted to go grocery shopping. You wanted to go out to eat because it was like Taco Tuesday or something, and you can't because that's when the CTA was called. You had to drop everything, all of your plans that you wanted to do So you can go die 4 times in this fight that you couldn't win anyway. You got nothing for it. And let's say you're in a nicer guild that does do regears. Well, they're not going to regear all of your stuff, just some of it. So you've basically pissed away 7 to 10 million of your silver, and you didn't have fun today. Oh, and you're expected to do this at least twice a day, maybe once a day, depending on the guild. It really depends on the guild, but you can expect to have to do this once a day. All right, now let's make the scenario a little better. You're in a CTA. And now, you're going to fight on the opposite side. So you are in the big winning mega guild, and you have the CTA. They get it done in about 30 minutes because people are more organized and ready to fight. You're marching off to fight some low-level crap clan that you know you can stomp. So you show up, you fight for about 7 minutes. You manage to kill them. You don't get to loot anything, though, because that's all. There's designated people in the guild that do the looting. And if you dare loot anything, their third-party programs will immediately log it and catch you out, and you'll be fined or, serve a penalty or something. But hey, everyone's chilling in Discord. You get the castle, you get, maybe 10, 20 million in castle loot or something, which, again, you will never see. That goes to the inner circle, that goes to everyone else. And now it's off to go try to, contest a mammoth spawn or something. You go do that, that's another 20, 30 minutes. Your clan manages to get the mammoth, they skin the mammoth, and then there's an 8.4 node you gotta contest. Your clan also does that. You do win. The gatherer of the guild gets the 8.4 node. Everyone's chilling happy. Now, 1 week later, it's payday. You get the loot split, maybe, if your clan is nice. And, hey, you earned about 6 million silver for showing up. And, again, this took about 3 to 4 hours of your day. And you earn 6 million silver. And you're like, well, hey, that's all right, I guess. That's pretty cool. Except, really, you could make more silver in way less time if you just played the game as a solo, technically. But hey, you had fun. You were with your bros in Discord. You got some kills. You were, at least first place on the kill leaderboard. You bombed. You were the biggest bomber of the bomb squad or something. I don't know. Whatever fantasy you want to live. All right, but that took multiple hours out of your day. And, that's like the good ending. The good ending almost never happens. All right, in a CTA, there's always a winner and a loser, and generally, you're going to be on the losing side, statistically, of course, because it's almost always 1 or 2 mega clans that kill everyone else. Look, I can show you on the leaderboards right now. Season overview. Kool-Aid has 302,000 points, and then number 2, number 3, and number 4 don't even add up to that. These fuckers are killing everybody right now. And everyone else is dying, okay? And it's that way by design, all right? So, in this situation, you were in the Kool-Aid, Cool Kids Club, whatever, right? But, that's a very rare occurrence that you have a good, outcome in these CTAs, right? And, maybe sometimes you're forced to play a role you don't want to, like, hey, word is you have maximum spec arcane staff, and they need, someone to run arcane staff or whatever, okay? I know, I forget the damn names right now. I'm not going to open my Destiny board and check. I don't care enough to get the names right. But they need the one that gives a shield to everybody, or the one that makes the little haste on the floor, the occultist staff, I guess. They need something. It's a boring job. You push your buttons and blah, 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 right? So, that's CTAs, okay? And, I don't know about you, but whenever I saw the ad for this game and I wanted to play this game, my dream for this game wasn't to do CTAs for someone else. All right? It just wasn't. You're just making someone else richer. You got a 6 million loot split, sure. But you know how much that inner circle got? Well, they got a good chunk of that mammoth. They got a good chunk of that castle loot. And they got quadruple what you made. So you worked hard to make someone else wealthier. Also, that you could get a little chest at the end of the season, a little guild reward chest, and you could open it, and it might earn you 10 or 20 million or something after a whole 2 months of slaving away for someone else. It's just not good. Now, let's say you die in these fights, and you're in a guild that does regear. Almost all of the top 10 guilds, I can't speak for everyone. There might be, a diamond in the rough out there that regears everything, but almost all of these regear things, I don't know why it is, I don't know who decided this, but there is this universal, they don't regear the mount, the food, the potion, the cape, or the bag. They just regear your weapon and armor, helmet, and boots, and that's it. So, like, let's say you're forced to wear tier 8 equivalent, a tier 8 cape, let's just say tier 8 Deadford cape, 876,000. Whoops, that's almost a million. You're required by the guild to run a wolf mount, that's 500k. You're required 8.2 food, that's 100k. You're required, you know, at least 8.1 potions, that's another 40k, depending on what kind of potion you got going on there. So you're out almost 2 million silver every time you die. Every time you die, you eat that 2 million cost. Yes, you get your weapon and armor back, maybe, if they even actually do the Regear right. You know how many people got screwed out of Regears? I've been screwed out of Regears, and so have so many other people, right? And it's on the whims of the inner circle. Oh, we lost that fight horribly. No Regears tonight. Uh-oh, someone said something nasty in the Discord. No Regears for them for a week. Oh, it seems like, I just forgot your Regear. Oops. Oh, you died in a weird way. When we looked at the review VOD, we didn't agree with how you were playing, even though we told you exactly to do that thing that you did, and you were following orders of the shot caller. And we're not going to Regear you because reasons, because why not? Who cares, right? Like, the Regear officers are usually greedy assholes, part of the inner circle anyway. And you can consider yourself amazingly lucky if you don't get screwed over during the Regear process. So it's just a massive, massive silver drain to do this content, unless you're part of that inner circle, of course. If you're in one of these guilds and you are not yes-manning, then you will quickly, you know, just have enemies. You will quickly have people that hate you, people that will disclude you any chance they get. Gamers are petty. Gamers are very, I don't know the word for it. They're just not good people, okay? They're just not good people, and that's the truth, all right? And you are expected to yes-man everything. Can you be on at this time, even though that's like your kid's birthday party or whatever? Yes. Oh, can you run this build? Yes. Can you help me with this? Yes. Can you do my homework for me? Yes. Oh, you're not going to do my homework for me? Oops. You're going to get passed up on the promotional position. You know, we can only bring so many people to skin this mammoth, and you're not invited since you didn't do my homework. I'm not joking. Like, this is a real thing, and of course, I don't yes man. And I did enroll to Warcraft, and that was the last time I was ever doing that shit. But even if you do yes man, if you know man, the one time you know man, it's over. So it's all or nothing when you do this crap. And you know, brown nosing is the same thing. Oh, the Guildmaster talked about how he went to the batting cages and he batted an average of 6 out of the 10 baseballs. Wow, you're so cool, Mr. Guildmaster. I wish I was that good at the baseball batting cages as you. It must take a lot of athletic prowess to be able to hit those baseballs. Right? It's a lot of ass-kissing, toe-sucking. It's a lot of bending the knee socially and giving up your dignity to exchange for what? Digital pixels? Just to get invited to some stupid virtual fake dungeon raid boss thing that you're going to forget about in 10 years. Yes, manning is the most degenerate of thing that gamers will do to get ahead in pixels, money, and status. It sucks. It's so dumb. And, you know, when I ran a guild, it was very obvious when people were trying to do this shit. I'm like, bro, I'm just a dude. Chill. Stop. Right? Like I would want to condition people to be real and soulful beings and not mindless, you know, yes-manning soldier drones that only say the positive shit instead of the real shit that they're thinking about. It's inhumane, it's soul-crushing, it's soul-destroying. I don't agree with it, and I'm not going to be a part of it ever. Alright, inner circles, every guild has one. Like, name a guild where the guildmaster is just some loner person with no friends, okay? Every guild ever has... It's a group of friends that want to expand their group of friends, but really, they just want virtual indentured servants to make them more wealthy so that they can buy fame tomes rather than actually play the game or whatever. So, when you join a guild, you're almost never going to get into the inner circle unless you are exactly how they are and think how they are and act how they are. And you could spend 11 months in a guild hanging out in the voice chat every single day for 8 hours a day with these guys, and they will just kick you out as if you were just nothing. You were just trash to them. You were just a hideous creature that helped, you know, grow their numbers or made them some extra money whenever they did whatever they did in whatever video game you're playing, okay? Inner circles are, you have to identify them, right? If you join a guild and the inner circle is a bunch of uppity rich crypto bros that are living an upper middle class life, and you happen to be from the ghetto living a poor life, they will judge you. But when you are not there, park a Discord spy bot in the voice chat and listen to what they say about you. They will say mean and nasty things, and they'll act nice when you're around, sure. But the reality is they think nothing of you. You're just there to make their paychecks bigger. You're just, again, their little virtual slave guy who is just there to do their bidding. And that is the actual truth of guilds. And anyone who says otherwise is part of the inner circle and does not want that to be exposed. I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. Name a single guild where it's a group of friends instead of, the inner circle versus everyone else. Essentially, you only exist as a cog in the machine to make them more virtual currency. All right, guild culture. Now, I just want to point out immediately that the guild culture of every guild is that the inner circle is never wrong and they're always right. And the inner circle's guild culture is to use you to make more virtual currency go up in whatever game you're playing. And this game is no different. Though each guild, at least every guild ever, has its own sort of type of culture. Though the cultures aren't really that much different because these guilds, they just let everyone join. And so the culture shifts to wherever the power is. So let me explain in autismal detail how this works. Let's say we have an old planet-side guild. We'll call them Fallout 2 Final Boss. Right, okay, that's a stupid name, but some of you will get what I'm saying here. Fallout 2 Final Boss is a guild that is extremely right-winged, and it's super hateful towards different types of things. And it makes fun of all the things that the majority of the world is, okay? And it's very, I don't know, skinhead with certain tattoos types, okay? That's the guild culture, okay? Now, let's say that Fallout 2 Final Boss Guild decides to play a game like Star Citizen. And Star Citizen, well, is based around how much real-life money you have. And so let's say that Fallout 2 Final Boss Guild wants to recruit people that don't live in trailer parks who, share the vision that they do. No, they want to recruit people that can buy the in real life $40,000 ships so that they can have an in-game PvP advantage over everyone else that is stuck with the cheap $40 ships. So what does Fallout 2 Final Boss Guild do? They recruit anyone they can that has money. And in Star Citizen, the richest players are furries. The richest players are also people who marry the same type of person that they are, if that makes sense to you. And yes, I have to choose my words, this way so that YouTube is, lets me continue paying or trying to pay the bills, okay? But essentially, Fallout 2 Final Boss's culture shifted from tattooed skinhead trailer park boys to homo furries who snoof diapers and ram each other in the behind, okay? So now, what does Fallout 2 Final Boss Guild do to all the skinhead trailer park people? Well, they get kicked out because it's upsetting the furries. It's upsetting the dude-on-dude activists. That's what's happening. And now you're guildless. And what does the guildmaster say about it? Well, they have the expensive ships, so they're helping us win more. And all we care about is winning and watching our win-loss ratio go up and watching our money number counter go up. So, in Albion Online, the guild culture is the ones who card swipe. The ones who have all the money, all the power, and sadly, not all of the availability. Because someone like me, I'm a NEET, I have no job, I have no, family obligations. I can sit here on this game for 19 hours a day and grind, and I can make guild number go up. So I'm a huge asset to guild like this. However, if the majority of the guild are people who snoof the diaper, and I openly tell them that they are gross and weird for sniffing diapers in a hotel room, then they know likey the Swole Benji, and so the Swole Benji get kicked out because they have, you know, people in that guild that like those things who also make guild number go up just as good. And that's the culture. So you have to... Essentially, the only people in guilds are people that are just yes-manning and being okay with cultures that they would find aberrant and disgusting in the real world, and don't have a backbone to say otherwise, because they would rather watch their virtual character thrive while their soul suffers and burns. When I'm in a Discord and I hear, ew, woo, oh my god, ara, ara, all freaking day long, and oh man, I was at the FurCon in 2021, and this one diaper, it smelled like nicotine. I'm like, bro, are you trolling or are you being real? It's like, no, they're being real. They had photos and even a video of it, and I'm like, why are you sharing this with me? It's nasty. And they're like, how dare you say this is nasty? This is completely normal. I'm telling the guildmaster. And then the guildmaster's like, bro, like, I've had a, I kind of want to play a clip. All right, I will play a clip, and I have done my best to anonymize the person talking so you can't identify them.
Who's getting mad? I had people, like, message me saying, yo, Swole, like, I mean, it wasn't just one person. It was, like, actually, like, 3 or 4 people, like, and it's been over the course of, like, a few weeks since, like, I'm like, hey, I don't like how Swole talks, like, he's just too much sometimes, and I literally tell him, like, bro, like, you're just in the wrong, and, you know, I had to respond to all of them, like, not that they're in the wrong, that sounds bad, but it's like, people are allowed to have their opinions. You know?
So, yeah. Oh, man. So, it's like, I don't run to the guildmaster and tattle and be like, yeah, this guy's, like, sharing pictures and talking about smelling shit-filled diapers, but when I complain to them that they're being gross, they run behind, you know, everyone's back and tattle to the guildmaster, right? And here's the thing, you may think, well, in that voice clip, the guildmaster didn't sound very much bothered by it. He actually seemed like it was kind of funny. But no, the thing is, everyone tends to crack after a while, after 2 months of nonstop people DMing. Swole's being a bully. Swole doesn't like my lifestyle of diaper sniffing. Right? Eventually, they have to make a choice. It's them or me kind of thing, right? And you start to notice things, especially like, oh, you're not invited to this, or you get accidentally left out of loot splits or Regears, or oh, there was a fun times night and we just didn't invite you kind of thing. And so again, that's the culture. So you could be in a guild that matches your culture, and I have yet to ever find one that matches mine. They don't exist. But essentially, whenever the power dynamics change in that guild, the culture will change. And let's say it doesn't. Let's say the guild leader refuses to change the culture. So here's what happens in those guilds. Like, take World of Warcraft, for example. That Fallout 2 final boss guild, they had a falling out when they did World of Warcraft. And they had a bunch of feminists join the guild. And they were all the healers, the tanks, and the best crafters and enchanters, which is very important for guilds in WoW Classic. And so what happened was they outnumbered the inner circle and the guild leadership, and at that time they didn't buckle because they didn't like the feminist ways. And so what happened was there was a big drama fallout. All the feminists quit and formed their own guild, and they took everyone with them that they could, except for the inner circle. So what did they do? Well, they couldn't play WoW anymore because they weren't going to join another guild, and they didn't feel like recruiting back for months on end to try to do their raids anymore. They just went to a different game, which was New World. But essentially, that's guild culture for you. And, well, this is supposed to be the drama segment, but yeah, essentially, that's what happens. It's called fragmentation. There's too much diversity in a guild, and different types of play styles, goals, personalities. It leads to fragmentation, where the group splinters due to conflicting interests or lack of cohesion, ultimately causing guild collapse. It has happened countless times, and it is just not fun to be a part of. And I have yet to see a single Albion guild not have this happen, because there is not a single Albion guild that is not diverse. Okay, they all like if you go to the guild finder, we have like English, Spanish, Spanish, English, etc. Like it's there's not a single guild with a single theme with a single type of person in it. Okay. And even I have tried to create a guild where it's just a one type, like a one framed mind type of person. Doesn't exist, can't find it. Like, just this from December of 2024 till now, I get maybe 3 to 20 applicants in my Discord questionnaire a day. 3 to 20. Only one single person in that entire time frame semi-passed it. They didn't quite pass it, but they passed it enough for me to technically let them in anyway. However, they failed because they were a furry. And, yeah, so even though they passed the questionnaire, they had a furry avatar, furry internet history, and it's like, nope, sorry, pal, you don't align with the values. And, but when you join any other guild, you're going to see just a bunch of different furries, a bunch of different Redditors, a bunch of different, you know, the types. I'm not gonna sit here and name all the types of people, but even if you're like a yes man and you're a, you know, vibes with everyone type of person, there's gonna be a few people like me that you won't vibe with, or, you know, vice versa, right? And so this, you know, once one group overpowers the other, that's when the guild collapse and drama happens. And let's say it doesn't, okay? But most of the time, it is the root cause, but like loot distribution drama, like unequal, shady loot splits, if you do group content like Avalonian Dungeons, ZVZs, you know, whatever, the inner circle hogs the best drops, leaving regular members with the scraps or the harder to sell stuff. That was always a thing in loot splits, is they just give you the loot and you gotta, you know, sell it yourself, and that's fine, whatever. But when they give you the things that, you know, have like a market sales rate of like 1 a month, and they're grabbing things that sell 10,000 a day, and it's like, yeah, I wonder who's getting paid and who isn't, all right? And then, you know, other drama things like time zone tyranny, where guilds only cater to a specific time zone, and it turns out you have to work or sleep or have life obligations, which don't affect me because I don't have those things, but most people do. Another thing is like guild taxes. They tax you into the dirt. You know, or they make you pay some sort of tax, like, oh, you missed a CTA, that's 1 million silver, bucko. Or, oh, we have to upgrade our hideout, everyone needs to donate 10 million silver. And, yeah. And then cliques. Cliques is a group of people, it's not quite the inner circle, but like, you know, in that one guild, that Fallout 2 Final Boss guild I was talking about, well, they have the furry clique, they have the dude-on-dude clique, they had the inner circle clique, they had the edgelord clique, which I wasn't even a part of, sadly. But you get the idea. Like these cliques, they don't mesh well. It just causes a bunch of drama, and like even like drama can happen over the smallest thing. And I'll give you an example with myself. I'm in a Discord, you know, voice chat, just chatting with the bros, and this is an Albion guild. And one of the guys is like a surgeon. He's a freaking doctor, okay? And, you know, he makes like 350 to 500,000 bucks a year. And he made the statement, the most ridiculous statement from my perspective on life. And he was like, anyone could become a doctor if they truly wanted to. And, you know, me, you know, everyone else like, yeah, oh yeah, true, oh, that's true, yeah, true. And I'm like, bullshit. Nuh-uh. There is no way that anyone can become a doctor if they want to. For one, if you are born in the absolute slums and depraved of poverty, you don't have the learning abilities, you have bad upbringing, you live in the ghetto, you know, you're surrounded by crime, you have no one in friends or family that did any kind of doctor stuff, you have no connections, you can't do well in school, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's so many roadblocks, life roadblocks to becoming a freaking doctor. And I'm sitting here quizzing the guy, you know, he doesn't believe me. He's like, no, anyone could do it. I did it, you could do it, right? And then the first thing I asked him is, can anyone become a YouTuber? He's like, no, it's impossible. You have to have luck and charisma and the ability to speak. And I'm like, really? You think you can't just learn how to speak? You can't just learn how to, you know, like talk and keep a conversation going and video editing and blah blah blah. He's like, no, there's no way. And I'm like I'm like, there's like 50 million YouTubers and there's only how many doctors are there? Yeah, okay, so in 2019 there was 12.8 million physicians. And as of right now, there's 66 million YouTubers, and I think there's actually more than that. But the point is that I think it's pretty hard to become a YouTuber myself. But being a doctor is it's unreachable, and I think being a YouTuber is technically unreachable for a lot of people. And you know, if I went back to my teenage years, being a YouTuber would have been impossible as well, because I didn't have the skills, I didn't have the ability to talk like I do now and stuff, or even the brain wiring chemistry to even present videos in such a way. Like, I wish I could find my first ever video. It was a hoot. It was a tutorial on a fighting game, and there was no voice. It was just scrolling text, like, on the top of the screen, really fast text. Like, the text would be like, here's the combo. Yeah, you get half a second to look at the combo. Woo! Right? It was the funniest thing, and I love that video. I wish I could find it, but, anyway, the point is that this guy got super upsetty spaghetti that I challenged his worldview of anyone can be a doctor. And then all of the people that simped for this guy, because he's a doctor and he was giving them free medical advice, and he's always helping them with their elements and stuff and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, he had a lot of people in his little clique, okay? He had a lot of people in his clique. And as soon as I started challenging his worldview of not anyone can be a doctor, his entire clique turned on me. I mean, just boom, like that, like done. Like it's done, right? And yeah, fun times. I actually investigated the guy, and he wasn't a doctor. He's just lying. He's just pretending. He was pretending the whole time to be a doctor. And I exposed it. Of course I did. And his clique didn't really shrink or anything. His clique was just like, nah, that's not real. That's not real. I'm like, bro, it's real. That's him. That's him. And he's not a doctor. And and the guy's like, at first he's like, that's not me. I'm like, yes, it is. It's literally like, I remember, I'm like, the dude would get phone calls. He would get freaking phone calls, and you know, he'd be like, "Oh, be right back. Got to take this." And so I'd be like, "Hey, man, your phone's gonna ring in 3, 2, 1." And he'd go in the background, and he'd be like, "Are you calling me?" And I'm like, "Yes, yes, I am." "How'd you get this number?" I'm like, "I told you, you're not a doctor. You're not a freaking doctor." Like. Oh man, it's so easy to like look things up and like do a little bit of research, but it is what it is. And they're like, "Oh my god, you did that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm proving a point." Dude lied about being a doctor. Wasn't even really a doctor. He's got you all fooled. He lied to a bunch of internet strangers so that he would grow his clique and they would give him free stuff in the video game. It's so cringy. It's so freaking cringy, right? But you know, it's I wouldn't have done any of that if they would have just been like, you know what, maybe not everyone can be a doctor. You know, you have some valid points. It is what it is. Well, yeah, cool. Anyway, so how about that that thing that people are interested in? How's the weather? I don't know, right? We could easily change the subject, but they wouldn't drop it. I'm not going to drop it because I know I'm not wrong. What do you guys think? Could anyone be a doctor? Can anyone be a doctor? I don't, dude. For those of you right now saying yes, anyone can be a doctor, think back in school, in freaking high school, if you made it that far. Remember the kids that literally couldn't read in high school? Remember them? Okay, now take those kids. I'm not a kid that can't read. I was able to read before I even started school. Okay, but take those kids, give them the worst possible outcome: a single parent household where they barely eat, they're starving to death, they live in full crime-ridden areas, and they do drugs. All right, and then tell me how they're going to be a doctor. I'd love to hear. I'd love to freaking hear it. And guilds are guilty of so many other things, like officer power tripping, where they micromanage everything from what you're crafting to hideout management, basically dictators. And they alienate everyone that just wants to play the game, have fun, right? And basically just full-blown warlord mode. You have the recruitment scammers, guilds that promise all the fame and the loot and the hideout and the blah, blah, blah. And then you're just used as cannon fodder in ZVZ. You're just like a frontline guy up there to die while they chill in the back and not die. And then you're forced to like gather and stuff. You have the betrayals, people poaching each other for different guilds, and that happened all the time. I'm going to talk more about that in a little while, but like people guild hop, they have no loyalty, right? You think a guild is a group of friends? No, it's like, oh, this other better guild is recruiting. See ya, bye. Like shaming you for your attendance. Oh, I couldn't make the ZVZ because my wife was having my child, and it's like, well, too bad, you should have been here. And then they never let up about it. Now, obviously, that didn't happen to me, but it did happen to somebody. Alliance politics. Oh, this guild should not be attacked. Do not attack this guild. They are paying us real-life money for protection. And then you don't attack them, but then they kill you. And it's like, hey, that guild killed me. And they're like, well, that's too bad. They paid for protection. They can kill you, but you can't kill them. What? And then you kill them, and then you know what happens? You get dragged into a Discord officer chat with like 6 people screaming at you that you killed someone who was under protection. And it's like, but they killed. Look at my murder ledger. They killed me 6 times. I'm gonna kill them back. And it's like, okay, well, we'll have a talk with them. And then until then, you are not to kill them. And it's like, okay, but if they kill me, I'm gonna kill them again, right? I don't give a damn how much they paid, and they don't have a right to just kill our members over and over and over again. And it's like, yes, they do. They paid real-life money to the Guildmaster. Well, where's that real-life money for me? Where's my cut? Where's my freaking cut, huh? Like, there's so much little drama, right? And you have hideout squatters, all right? People leech and member hog hideouts, you know, without any kind of contribution. And then when guilds kick people out of the hideouts without warning, you know, leaving them stranded, all their crap is, you know, stuck. There's the gank betrayals. Discord mutes and bans. Like, if you have someone in your guild from a rival clique that does not like you, they will try everything in their power to get you Discord kicked or muted, which ultimately happens to me, of course. But I was kind of aiming for that because I was a little bit done with the guild anyway, and I was just like, I'm just gonna shitpost until they freaking kick me out, right? But let's talk about that now. So I'm not gonna use anyone's actual names. But, so the guild leader of a top 10 guild I was in, he was a cool guy, he was a chill guy. I would play with him, and I would play well, and he would praise me, which would upsetty spaghetti everyone else because they hated me by default because I'm a YouTuber, because I'm a Yellow Zone warrior. I was topping the kill boards, I was following orders to a T, I was keeping the guild leader alive in, like, little weird, like, I don't know, small guild movement activities and stuff. Like, there was one thing, we had to contest a mammoth. And I was right there next to the guild leader doing my duty, and everyone else was, like, being really scared to engage. And, yeah, my character died to save the guild leader, whose loot was worth way more than mine, and I was praised for it, and it pissed everyone else off. Now, eventually, this guild leader, he fell victim to what most men fall victim to, and that is the Discord kitten. For those that don't know, a Discord kitten is a girl gamer in a Discord who is buttering up the guild leader. And, well, you know, him being a single man, possibly incel, possibly virgin, the dude, his life was over after that. After he got that girl's attention, he basically stopped playing the game almost entirely just to hang out with her all the time, and nothing else mattered to him. And that's just how it is. So whenever your guildmaster or inner circle is the girl gamer has them in their grasp, then it's literally over. Find a new guild immediately. Next up is the lead shot caller for the guild. We'll call him C-Rocks. Okay, that's not his character name, but it's close. And this guy would scream at the smallest inconsistency. You know, everyone went in this direction, even though he didn't tell anyone to go a specific direction. He would scream at him for 20 minutes and wish death upon everyone and all the most horrible things. And to me, it's funny to me because it's video game pixels. It doesn't matter. It's also funny because it's a literal who person that may or may not technically exist in the real world. Could be AI generated for all I know. Screaming and losing his shit over a video game and telling people to die and stuff, which, again, it's over the computer. I don't care. I think it's funny. But the dude would just completely, absolutely lose it, like his life depended on if we won or lost. To the point of, I don't think this guy's going to live into his 40s because he's going to stroke out long before then with how much stress this guy has over a little freaking video game. And the dude was just, he was always rude to everyone all the time. So it's like, I think that he got off on it. Like, his whole reason for being a shot caller and being in a gaming guild was just so he could yell at people. Which is weird, but hey, whatever makes him happy, I guess. The dude was also inherently bad at the game. Very terrible player. So it's like, why is he the lead shot caller of a top 10 guild? I never understood it until I learned that, oh, he's friends with the guild leader, and that's the only reason. That's the only reason. Whoops. And the funny part is that all the important roles in the top 10 guild were segregated and done separately. So the bomb squad had their own shot caller in their own server, and the tank squad and the heal squad had their own shot caller. So it was really just him shot calling like everyone else in the fights. So I don't really get it, right? And I wasn't in the bomb squad. I was in the brawl squad, and I was still getting more kills than the bomb squad people. So I don't know how this guild managed to hit top 10. I have no freaking clue, dude. All right, we'll call this guy Carl with a K. And this guy hated my guts since day one. And the reasoning for it was, randomly one day, he was transporting through the yellow zones on a mammoth naked, and I happened to gank him a few times, because I do that. That's something that I do. I can pull up a clip right now. Like, you see this folder of replay files? These are all ganks. These are all yellow zone ganks. And yes, they're like minutes apart sometimes. But, you know, I'll just find one with a mammoth real quick. All right, so this guy's name is... This is not the guy I'm talking about. This is just a random mammoth gank, okay? But, you know, this is what I did to this Carl guy. He was transporting on a mammoth, and I decided, hey, I'm going to beat you up in the yellow zone and give you a 3-minute timeout, because that's part of the game. Why are you transporting naked? If you wore plate, you would take significantly less damage. So there we go, dismounted, and this guy is donezo. He's now on a 3-minute timeout, and that's the gank, right? And so this guy was insanely butthurt that the fact that I was sharing a guild with him now, and he would scream at me over the mic and just talk all the crap about me and how much he hates me and he wants me dead in real life and all of these things. And all I did was beat him up in a yellow zone maybe a few times while I transported on his mount. Didn't even suffer a big repair bill because it was just like raw materials or whatever. And I'm like, whatever, I can win this. Like, I'm a social guy. I can win people over. I can, you know, it's like a game. It's like, oh, this guy doesn't like me? Well, that's a challenge. I'll get him to like me, right? And, you know, over time, you know, we're playing in the guild stuff, and and this dude is getting ganked, and I rush in and save him. And there's actually a YouTube short of him on the voice stream, like, oh, so Pinchy, thanks, blah, 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 right? And, and the thing is, like I did a lot of things to be nice to the guy. I was like, you know, that's just, you know, you're not the only one I've ganked on a mammoth. I gank everyone on a mammoth. You know, it's not like I picked you out personally. And I tried everything I could to get this guy to like me, and he would pretend to like me eventually. But when I had my, again, voice chat spy bot, you know, randomly logged into the server, you know, he would say mean things when I wasn't there. So it's like, why is he lying to me, right? And it's like, okay, Carl with a K. I don't know what your game is, but stay salty, I guess. All right, now we have a guy, we'll call him Edgelord, and this guy was really based. This guy was awesome. He very much aligned with my interests, and unfortunately, what happened with, and this guy was the top #1 guildie. He was responsible for the most guild contribution points over anyone else. So he was like the biggest of big dogs when it came to making the guilds rank higher. No joke. No meme, right? However, one day, the wife who does not even play this game overheard him in a Discord say a gamer word, okay? You know the one. He said the gamer word, and, well, she didn't like it because she aligns with what that gamer word means. And so, she demanded that he get removed from the guild, and which they complied. So they lost their top player, Mr. Edgelord, because he said a gamer word in a private Discord chat amongst his bros. And the server, the thing is, he wasn't like breaking rules. The guild was a freedom of speech guild that allowed you to say these things. It's just that in that particular moment, an officer's wife overheard it and wanted blood, because if the guild officer did not comply, then he wasn't getting any, you know, girl gamer time later that night, so to speak. So yeah, you know, it sucks, but whatever. But it turns out this guy was friends with Tommy, and so people who are friends with Tommy are not my friends. So, oops. So we have a player named Giant, and this guy didn't like me from the start ever, and you know, at first I thought, oh, he's just being a little hard because he's like super min-maxy. He just wants to min-max everyone's loadouts and stuff. But when I looked through his chat history, that wasn't the case. He was just doing it to me just because he thought he could get away with it. And yeah, it's you know, the legacy of being a YouTuber that people randomly hate for whatever reason, even though they've never interacted with me once. And yeah, this guy was he didn't last long. He I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he stroked out in real life or something. He stopped logging in one day. But yeah, didn't like me. Didn't like my builds, even though I was following the exact build that the officers were telling me to do. This guy just had a problem with me. I don't understand why. All right, we'll call this guy whipped because he was whipped by the giant guy. Everything that the giant guy said, he was fart sniffing the whole time. And so essentially this is just a click thing. So this whipped guy hated me because the giant guy hated me. Nothing more, nothing less. Can't really do anything about it. All right, we'll call this guy Glue. And at first, this guy, and this is a manipulative tactic that I wasn't really used to. But this Glue guy, you know, he wanted to like butter up to me, and so he gave me some stuff. He gave me a set of items, and he kept giving me free stuff. And I'm like, bro, I'm a literal billionaire. You don't have to give me anything. We're good. He's like, okay. And eventually, I gave him, you know, more back than he gave me. And, you know, I wouldn't realize until later that that was his plan all along, was to butter me up so that I would, you know, pay him back twofold, because he had a psychological profile on me that said that I would do that type of thing, which I did out of kindness and not for anything really. So I ended up giving him more stuff than he gave me, which is fine. I'm okay with giving people that seem cool free stuff. It does not bother me at all. However, what did bother me is this guy hated my guts the whole time he was doing it, because I heard things that he said about me using my Discord spy, of course. Love that thing. And essentially, he was in charge of loot splits at some point, and he would intentionally leave me out of loot splits. And it's like, why would this guy act cool and give me free stuff and then leave me out of loot splits intentionally? It was just the weirdest thing. Why are people like this? Why? I don't understand what drives people to do these sorts of underhanded things. All right, we'll call this guy Up Pat, but he was also in charge of loot splits, and I guess he fart sniffed the Glue guy, so he also left me out of loot splits to the point where I'm not going to do things that involve loot splitting anymore, which probably was his plan or something. I don't know. The dude was never in voice chat, so I could never really figure out why he was doing this. And, you know, I would tell other people, oh, he left me out of loot split. And they're like, well, we can't do nothing about it. Oh, well. And then nothing ever happened. So, yeah. All right, so this person, you could say their name is Money or Moni. And this is a girl gamer in the guild. Girl gamer wore the little BJ choker, possibly trans, who knows, who cares, but so many people simped for this person, and they were absolutely worthless. They were a healer, and they would intentionally not heal me. They would intentionally not heal me, and I never spoke to them ever once. I never interacted with them ever once. They just hated me by default, but they were an AoE healer, and so I would just have to stand near the officers and the inner circle and the guild leader to get heals. So technically I did get heals when I did that, but I wasn't supposed to stand near them, but it was 100% apparent that this person intentionally would not heal me to let me die. And, you know, it is what it is, and I don't really care. But, you know, when I showed people, you know, like footage, like, oh yeah, here I am at like half health. This person is doing literally nothing with full mana bar. They're just not healing me. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, she's a girl, so we're going to let her do what she wants. It's like, okay, cool. All right, so we'll call this person Carry because he carried things. But this person was cool. They gave me free stuff, and they had no ill intentions. Though here's the thing is, they were not cool to me, but they were not cool to the guild because they were a guild hopper. They joined the guild. They got what they wanted. They joined a better guild, so on and so forth. And this person even tried to recruit me to their other guild. You know, that's what they were doing. They were just like joining guilds to grab all the good people out to try to just infinitely do that until they're at the top. I don't know what the deal was, but I have loyalty issues, and so I don't abandon anything that lets me in ever. Like, the first person to ever show me kindness, I will just be their friend for eternity. It is what it is, but while this person wasn't mean to me, they were, you know, being mean to the guild or whatever. And the guild fell apart anyway, so I guess they were just planning for that. Who knows? All right, we'll call this guy RMT Trevor. And this guy was always crap talking me, and he was anything he could do, he could crap talk. And he would crap talk like my fame, like my stats page fame. But, like, he had half the stats I had on everything. I'm like, how are you crap talking me when yours is, like, not as good? And, of course, I had to ask him before setting him up. Like, when did you start playing? How long do you play? How long, you know, what year did you play? He started in, like, you know, 2017, whatever, right? And it's like, bro, you've been playing longer than me, and you have half my stats. And like, the dude was just a flamer. He just wanted to start fights and butt heads, and, I didn't get it. I don't know. I don't know what's up with this guy. But he did RMT. He openly RMT'd all the time. And I'm not a snitch, so I didn't report it. But I'm sure plenty of people did, and nothing ever happened to him. So maybe he's just like an SBI spy or something. All right, so this guy named Igloo, I don't know what he did in the guild, but he would try to crap talk me for just talking in the Discord. And no one else, of course, but just me. And it's like, why am I not allowed to talk when you are and everyone else is? I'm going to talk just like everyone else. Why should I have to, you know, not type out things when people are having conversations? But he could never answer. He would just be like, he was just like mad. Just like, I just have this aura that turns people insane for no reason or something. I don't know, man. And I realized something in these videos. I am like staying in the shadows, right? You know what happened? This comes from playing V Rising, okay? In V Rising, if you don't stay in the shadows, you're a vampire and you get burned by the sun. So it's just like a little habit that I've always had when I'm playing these games now, is to stay in the shadows. Anyway, moving on. All right, we'll talk about this guy's, you know, Shazam, like the genie, right? Obviously not his character name, but this guy was one of the officers. He was also the Regear officer, and he tried to shame me. We got into a conversation about dance arcade games, and he tried to shame me for, like, having a low score on a stamina song, and I'm like, bro, I'm like a national tournament, like, contender. I used to be in esports for dance games, and he never was, and that shut him up real quick, and he didn't like me after that, so he started leaving me out of loot splits. And he started being, like, really unfair. Like, the dude would intentionally not re-gear me. And I would go to the guild leader and be like, yeah, he didn't re-gear me again. And he's like, gosh, okay, re-gear him. Go re-gear Soul Benji. And he still wouldn't do it. I'm like, he still didn't do it. He's like, oh, well. Like, imagine that. You lead a guild and someone isn't getting re-geared. And you just say, oh, well. Like, really? Really, dude? But, this dude was a drug seller. He sold drugs in real life. I should have just... Again, I'm not a snitch, but I could have reported him to the local police. I had all the proof that he was, you know, a drug trader in the real world, you know, super illegal. Probably would have got 20 years in prison. I'm not going to do that to someone just because they didn't give me virtual pixel gear. I'm no snitch. But yeah, piece of shit guy for sure. Absolutely. All right, so this guy, we'll call him. That's not his real character name. But this was that doctor, snooty dude, fake doctor. And this dude was high society, though. He was very wealthy, high society, snootier, holier than thou, looked down upon the poor, which everyone knows I'm part of the poor. So the dude just hated me the whole time, just always hated me. He didn't like being debated with either. And he definitely didn't like it whenever I sussed out his fake internet persona of being a doctor. But he did have a high society job. Not what he was telling people, though. It was something else. Trust fund. That's what it was. But anyway, yeah, guy didn't like me, and he didn't even really play. He just kind of crafted. I think he was just a guild crafter. He would just card swipe and feed the stations and craft shit. That was all he did. All right, some dude named Ant Guy. Of course, that's not, again, all the names are changed, but hated my guts from the beginning. Always talk crap. He did okay in fights, though. And it's like, I could understand if he's talking crap, but the crap talk didn't start until after I started beating him. So this guy was the top guild killer at the time. And then when I joined, I was the top killer, and it pissed him off, and he would just talk crap. Rather than, I don't know, collaborating with me or or working along with me. He just chose to make me his enemy for some reason. It's like, okay, dude, whatever, get good, not my problem. All right, this guy, absolute Redditor, we'll call him Knife Day. And dude simped for all the girl gamers. He was like the most Redditor, neckbeard, Discord Janny type ever. Absolute soy voice, 300-pound, again, neckbeard. You got the whole shebang, right? And this dude was an inner circle officer. He was also one of the guild's tanks. He did a terrible job at tanking. He would wander around where he wasn't needed and just push Q all day. That's all he did. And he never got any results. But he was like friends with the people that ran the guild, so he got to do whatever the fuck he wanted. He didn't have to gear as heavily as the rest of us. He just had a free ride. I don't really get it, but I knew that this guy was my ticket out of the Discord, so I decided to like target him specifically on a lot of my schizoid rants and try to include him in as many of my crazy conversations as I could when I wanted to eventually get banned. And he would cry and scream every single second that I was active in the server until, you know, since he was like the pet of the inner circle, I guess, they were going to do what he wanted. So I managed to get banned by pissing this dude off big time. But he did it first. He never liked me. I was the antithesis to his persona, I suppose, right? Like he would be the opposite of Soul Benji. He'd be the soy Benji kind of dude, right? But you get the idea. All right, and then we have this guy who was in charge of the Ava raids, who just didn't like me or my YouTube channel. I think he was just envious, really. But he also barely spoke English. But he was like the lead guy for the Ava raids, and because he didn't like me, I wasn't ever invited. I even offered to pay just to go, and apparently money, you know, wouldn't convince this guy. He hated me so much. So it's like, I'm in the guild to do stuff other than be your little ZVZ murder bot. So let me in. And the guild leaders didn't care. The officers didn't care. And he was just free to do his own. He didn't even show up for ZVZs. He just did Ava raids. And they weren't even good, apparently. There was a lot of wiping and a lot of just like terrible things that, you know, happened that people would fill me in about. And it's like, well, I'm glad I didn't go because they sucked. And apparently he's not a very good player, but whatever. All right, now the flip side is when you, or rather me, is the guild leader or alliance leader, whatever you want to call it, and you have people that join, like if you just mass recruit everyone, Zerg recruit, whatever, 0% tax, and you offer to give free stuff to everyone that joins, and in the hopes that they would at least maybe do one or two little small things for you. But let's talk about that real quick. So a couple years ago or 3 years ago, I don't remember how many years ago, I made a guild, and I just had all my viewers join that wanted to join. We had like over 2,200 people join all of the different guilds within the first 2 days. I think it got to like 3,600 members or something crazy. I took a screenshot a long time ago. But essentially, out of everyone that joined, no one actually even played the game with me or even really talked to me. They would talk to me if they wanted something, and that was essentially it. But we had all these different little services set up, like, you know, I had hundreds of islands so people could do laborer stuff, they could grow crops, whatever it is that they needed or wanted, without them having to pay any of the money for any of the infrastructure or anything else. I had chests full of loot that they could yoink in order to use, but were expected to put it back so that someone else could use the loot. So again, this loot wasn't too expensive, anything from like 200 to 500k, you know, like a gear set. And, you know, instead of like, I don't know, people, you know, using the loot and making friends and being lifelong friends, they would just take the loot and then never speak and never give it back. And they would just keep it or leave with it or whatever. I'm like, okay, I'll just replace it. And then you replace it so many times, and you realize that every single person is just gonna steal it. Like, there wasn't a single person, not a single person that took the stuff out of the chests, put it back. No one put the stuff back. It's like, okay, so we can't be a high trust society guild, that's for sure. So how about we have a rule, not tax, but for people doing farm work, okay, so I'll plant all the crops for you. I'll pay all of that cost. You can water it if you want to. You don't have to. And then after you grab the crops, and if you want to keep replanting it, that's fine. You just put a gift of crops in a box next to the farms. You can gift whatever amount you want. Okay? At least it has to be at least something though. It has to be at least something. And you know what people did? Instead of putting one crop in because that would meet the requirements, which I was hoping that someone would do that because it's something I would do, but you know what they did instead? They just didn't put anything in the box. Not a single person put anything in. Like, the stipulation was you can put any amount in the box to continue using these farms, but it has to be at least one crop. Right? Like the most basic of IQ tests or something. And so people just didn't put anything in. And I asked them, I'm like, why didn't you put anything in? And they would either not answer, avoid the question, or they would say something like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to do that, and then I would pull up a screenshot from a previous conversation the literal day before. Hey, in order to use these farms, you must put at least one crop in the box when you are done. Do you agree to this? And they would say yes or whatever. And I would show them the screenshot. I'm like, oh, you don't remember? You don't remember this right here? Literally a day ago? You remember how to eat food and take shit? Like, what's going on? What's going on there, dude? And, they would just dance around the question or get nervous or whatever. And I would take away access. I'd be like, okay, well, no more farm access. You clearly failed, right? And, it was very obvious they would log into alt accounts, alt Discord accounts, and try to convince me to give that new person on a new account access. And it's their same typing style. And the account was created minutes ago and stuff. And it's like, dude, I know it's you, bro. Like, I'm not falling for that. Sorry, man. Try harder next time. Change up your spelling and pronunciation of stuff. But then I'm like, okay, so that didn't work. Let's try something else. Let's try. You have to pay a percentage of the crops. Guaranteed. And if you fail to do so, then you're out. You're just outsies. And so what happened? No one paid anything. No one paid anything. Like not. I didn't give them a choice. It was like, in order to use these farms, you had to put in this many crops, and you have to do this, otherwise access will be revoked. And so they would, do the farms, and then they would not put anything in the box, and then I would revoke access. And I'm like, oh, dude, what's going on? I'm like, well, we agreed that you would put stuff in the box, and you didn't. And they're like, oh, well, no one else is using the farms. Can I still use them anyway? I'm like, no. Like, you agreed to put stuff in the box, and you didn't. And so I'm like, okay, well, this is just a complete failure, right? Jeez. And so, there's something you have to learn how to filter. You have to filter out people that cannot follow the most basic of instructions, even when in a 1v1, one-on-one conversation, and they agree to it. You gotta find a way to filter them out. You just have to, because otherwise they're just gonna, I don't know, they're just gonna do something. But anyway, right? Another thing is I wanted to do stupid fun stuff with the guild. So I would ask people, hey, who wants to yellow zone gank? Nobody. No one ever wanted to do that. Ever. Not a single person was like, yeah. And I'd be like, does anyone want to do group dungeons? Crickets. Nobody wanted to do group dungeons. I was like, who wants to do a giveaway? Oh, plenty of people want to do giveaway. Oh, absolutely. Yes. Yes. Oh, me. Get completely flooded with, hundreds of people all at once. Oh, yeah, I want to do giveaway. I'm like, okay. We'll do a giveaway after we do a little yellow zone griefing. And I'm going to buy everyone furniture so they can put it on the ground and clutter the area, and we're going to gank everyone trying to destroy the furniture. As soon as you see a siege hammer, we jump them. And no one wanted to do that. So I'm like, okay, well, no one wanted to do that, so there's no giveaway. Oops. Aw, man. Well, tell me whenever someone does it so we can have the giveaway. I'm like, well, only the people that would do it would be in the giveaway. And they're like, oh, okay. And then I'd be like, so who wants to do arena? Who wants to do anything? Who wants to do anything? And just crickets. Nobody wanted to play with me. No one even wanted to talk with me. I just want to, like, ask random people just stuff about their day. You know, just have little conversations. Like, hey, people, let's join the Discord. Let's talk about stream sniping. Let's talk about, I don't know, whoever. We talk about the new patch coming up or something. Nobody wanted to talk or have a conversation or hang out. I'm like, does anyone want to play other games? Other games on Steam? I'll even buy it for you. Like, oh, me, buy me this. And it would be like some game from like 10 years ago that's like still $20. And I'm like, that's a single player game. It would be a game we could play together. And they're like, never mind. And a whole lot of people that joined were actually just spies. Like, dude, these Black Zone guilds had a freaking panic attack that I was assembling so many people. And even some of them would just straight up ask me, like, what are you going to do with all these members? What are you going to do with them? Are you going to make a Black Zone hideout and start breaking other people's hideouts? Because, you know, we'll pay you like 20 million not to attack us. We'll pay you 20 million a month if you leave our hideouts alone. I'm like, bro, I'm not going to the Black Zone. I'm not doing any Black Zone stuff. They were already willing to pay me to, like, hold their hand. It's called hand holding. It's what guilds do. They were already, like, they were so flustered about this that they went into full panic mode. And it's like, guys. I'm not doing any Black Zone content. It's not forbidden. They can do it if they want, but like it's not something that I'm doing. So you don't have to worry about me assembling a big army and smashing your hideouts or attacking your castles or whatever it is you guys do, right? And they had so many freaking spies in the server. Even like content creators had their spies. Like Nazori's wife was in the server 2 years, never saying a word. Isn't that weird to join a Discord server and never talk in it? Especially if you hate me? Like, why are you in the server if you hate me? I don't get it. Right? It's just so weird to me. But the guild was a complete bust. And so there's a Discord questionnaire now for, you know, compatibility checking. So maybe one day we can get a guild going. But no one passes the questionnaire. So it's never going to happen in this game. Or probably any game. Because I don't think anyone that's like me is a gamer anymore. I think everyone that's like me is either given up on life or is in a situation where they don't even like video games, and I don't know, I'm getting there, man. I just don't like video games. There's nothing good to play anymore. There's nothing to do either. Anyway, I think that's about it, and I just got a little referral reward, so let's go ahead and claim those real quick. And yeah, so let me know what you think about guilds in the comments section, and no recruiting or anything like that, okay? But I don't know, you like guilds, you hate guilds, what's your guild experiences like? I looked on Reddit, and there was a 160 reply thread about guilds, and everyone was basically agreeing that guilds suck and they blow ass, and all the guild leaders are pissed because of people like me who actually tell the truth about guilds. It's like, bro, if you want guilds to not suck, then don't do the things that we hate, like taxation, mandatory CTAs, and all the drama and stuff. Like, I get it, right? I understand, but the game is just in a really stupid position when it comes to guilds, because all the actual people that care about the guild stuff, they all just join the one winning guild, as you can see here. They just join the winning guild, and that's all they do. Like, so, yeah. Anyway, that's the video. Leave a comment. This is really one of those videos where you're supposed to talk in the comment section or whatever. And click the video on the right side of your screen. If you don't, then you're going to go to the store, and it's going to be, like, extra cold.